Hello, everybody. So we are still waiting on Crysstal to get back. She had to go pick up Alec. I hope your week has been absolutely wonderful. Hi, Jim. I see you peeking in. I hope your Easter has been amazing if you celebrate it. If you celebrate Astera, I know we do have some pagan worshippers in our group of friends. I hope it was wonderful as well. And if you don't celebrate, I hope you had a great Sunday. Now, oh, here we go. Come on, Kira. Come on up. There we go. I got both the cats up here. So everyone, meet my cats. This is Esri. She's my little calico derp derp. She, of course, is named after Esri Dax from Deep Space Nine. And then, come here. Aha! Oh, come on. I know. You're pissed. Come here. I'm trying to show you off to the fans. Excuse me. Kara. And this is Kara. I know, you're pissed. She, of course, is named after Kira Nerys. So she's a sweetheart. Yeah, I know. You want me to let go? Ezra, you went back in my lap? Come on. She's like, you had me on screen, mother. You had me in your lap just fine. All right, fine. Let's see. Smoked lamb day. Ah, nice. Yes, I've got two wonderful, beautiful kitties. I finally brought them over to my grandfather's house. They've been just settling in this week. They finally let my grandpa love on them. Let's see. Has Crysstal messaged me? She said she will be in 3 minutes. Awesome. So, fair warning, Crysstal and I will be doing spoilers most likely for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So if you do not want any spoilers for that, just fair warning. Cherry wood with prime rib seasoning. Thank you. It's just my hair color fading. I need to redo it. Let's see. Yep, happy Easter. So let me go ahead and greet everyone. Hello, Olive. Hello, Claude, Donnie, Gary, MT, Jim. Am I missing anyone? William, Joseph. There we go. But yeah, how are you guys doing today? Never Yellow Ranger and Power Rangers Dimey. English motherfucker, do you speak it? Apparently I don't. Just a little bit. Evidence of food. That's fair. That is fair. Hey, there's a wild Crysstal.
Hi, guys. Sorry about that.
It's all good. It happens.
Thank you for covering for me, Lyssa.
Everyone got to meet the cats.
Oh, good. Hear the dogs.
We should all learn Lyssa language. I'm not even sure what language I'm speaking half the time. There's a reason why on my Twitch channel, one of the sound alerts is Samuel Jackson going, English motherfucker, do you speak it?
Oh, goodness gracious. So how's everybody doing? How's everyone doing tonight?
Donnie, it is cinematic because it is actually a cinematic camera. This is the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. So, that's the thing. Josh is extra.
Yes. Blackmagic is a favorite. It is now and forever a favorite. It is.
It is indeed allergy time again here in Georgia. I was
Dear God, yes.
Speaking of, let me take my allergy meds. Because I was outside with my dad working on the lawnmower today.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
So it's one thing to be outside. It's another thing to be outside doing yard work right now.
No, we weren't doing yard work. We were fixing the fucking thing.
Did you fix it? Is it fixed now? Call her again. Jeez.
Debatable.
I hope everyone's week is going really well. I know we talked about we would try to talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier in episode 3. I found this one to be very exciting. Did you get a chance to see it, Lyssa?
I did. I literally watched it right before this.
How about everybody else out there? Did you guys get a chance to see it? We have any Falcon Winter Soldier fans? I hope so, because that's what we're talking about right now while we're desperately waiting for some more films to come out. Yeah, this was the Baron. It's the Zemo episode, finally, and the Sharon Carter episode. So
I'm glad she made an appearance again.
Spoiler alert, I think I know who she actually is, on top of being Sharon Carter.
Okay. Who might that be?
I think she's the power broker. I think she is the power broker.
I'm not familiar with the power broker in Marvel.
So, this is interesting because this was such an X-Men episode of the MCU. They are in a city that even Wolverine spent time in. They have X-Men characters that are kind of different genders, slightly different in this, but this is such an X-Men, and they had a bunch of X-Men symbols that the crew put into the episode. I'm sure that there's a few dissecting YouTube videos where you can see that. But this was either a trolling X-Men episode, or they're just like freely going, yes, we know this is an X-Men character heavy point that we're getting to in the MCU, including Shelby. Shelby is a gender bend in this, but that character is from the X-Men universe. This city is something that many of them are familiar with. And then when it comes to the power broker, don't worry about not knowing the comic book version of the power broker. We really get the idea of what the power broker is in this world for this. So there were a lot of things that we were given in this episode. And again, I've had the fortunate happenstance of finding a couple of people who take the time to watch these episodes at like a quarter speed. So they can see a lot more, even though I've watched the episode about 2.5 times now. So for Sharon Carter, you'll see things in this if you go back and see it that say like power broker's always watching. It says things like her skills, her money, where she happens to be, the knowledge she happens to have, her reaction to the doctor who was working on the serum getting killed. All of these, I firmly agree, and I firmly believe that we're going to find out Sharon Carter is the power broker. The other possibility is that she's working for the power broker.
I think that one's more likely.
It's entirely possible that they've set it up where the power broker popped up at exactly the same time Sharon Carter became who she is here right now.
Yeah. Though I feel like Marvel is more likely going to give her kind of this redemption arc since Sam is trying to clear her name. So I don't know that they're going to set it up that she is the power broker. Not to say that she couldn't get her redemption arc and be the power broker. They could totally do that.
Yeah.
But I think they're setting the stage more for her to come back in a role as an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. or even S.W.O.R.D. later on. Which
a lot of us would love to see. We would love to see that. The question is, if she is the power broker, what would her overall motivation of that be? But she's made the point. She's very calm and collected right now, but she got really screwed over. She got
Oh
really,
yeah.
So it's not like we wouldn't kind of understand the direction her life went.
I mean, yeah, definitely. It's highly likely that she could be.
So here's one thing that people spotted and was translated. And so, point of fact, the person who wrote John Wick wrote this episode. So this explains a lot of the feel.
That does explain a lot of the action oriented. Not to say that this is an entirely action oriented series, but the tone of the action scenes were a little bit different. Like the speed at which everything was like done for the fight scenes.
Even the bounty on the phones. Yep. That's just straight up John Wick right there.
Yeah.
So that was happening. When there is a fight and the actor Emily Van Camp, you'll see on one of when they're in the storage with all the storage containers, she's fighting. She ends up getting a guy in a hold.
Mm-hmm.
They put the camera on the writing on his arm, and it translates to "We have only begun to scratch the surface." And it's just that quote on his hand with her in the shot.
Very Marvel. Very Marvel.
There's so many little things in here. The little X-Men symbol, the little X's everywhere. These sayings, who's in what shot, what expression is happening in that one. All the symbolism. It's so Marvel, and we never know when they're trolling us or when they're really trying to give us a solid clue.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at this point, but a lot of people have jumped on this, and it's kind of that question of, I don't know how much of a secret Marvel was trying to keep it, that Agatha Harkness was going to be Agnes, because everybody figured that one out like immediately.
Yeah.
So I'm always curious how much of a secret they were expecting that to be. If she is the power broker, is that really a secret they were trying to keep, or is it one that they kind of expected us to figure out, or is she just working for the power broker? Because this episode, she was at it was too convenient.
Yeah.
The places she was at, she shot Shelby right in time. Right after we saw graffiti of "Power Broker is always watching."
Yeah.
She shoots Shelby and appears. It's like, okay, so either that's what I think. She's either power broker or she's an agent of the power broker.
I feel like just simply because Marvel is, I mean, they gave Cap and Carter their happy ending with Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're maybe a little bit more likely to give Sharon her quote unquote happy ending. Maybe not like a fairy tale ending like they did, but like something that's a little more redeeming.
We would certainly like to see that. The question is weighing good storytelling and character, flushing a character out compared to fan service. And it all depends if they have bigger plans for her. Maybe her redemption arc takes place over longer than 6 episodes. Maybe they're setting her up for the next, to be front and center in the next phase.
I think it's likely that they are setting her up to be, because they do want more female-led superhero movies.
Right.
And even though Sharon, as far as I know, she doesn't have any superhero related powers at any given point in time. But
unless she is the power broker and she has some other reason for the serum.
Yeah.
Again, that gets complicated.
But I think they are more likely to integrate her back in as an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Or, like I said, S.W.O.R.D., because they already set up S.W.O.R.D. with WandaVision.
Yeah.
Just because, like, we all, like, have that association of Peggy and the Carter lineage being Shield oriented.
Yes. It gets personal. It gets really personal with the legacies, and that goes for in WandaVision. Seeing such a cool name, Rambo. Continue with Sword. Not even if she didn't become Spectrum. It's my guess.
Yeah.
Spectrum. I mean, all of
that's
that
the name they're gonna go with. I'm relatively certain that's the most likely one, especially since we already have Captain Marvel in the MCU. And then I don't remember what the other name is off the top of my head, but Spectrum is her most recent incarnation name.
Yeah.
And especially like how they were showing her powers and everything. I think they are likely to go with the name Spectrum.
Right. No, I firmly agree. It's that legacy thing. We're beginning to see how Captain Marvel 2 is going to shape up. The next generations, how far with Young Avengers they'll go, we don't know, but they gave us like 2 or 3 more of those characters in the last couple of shows. And in MCU brilliant fashion, just when you think you've kind of figured out how bad things are going to get, I don't know why I ever have lower expectations than I should have for this. Like, okay, we're going to have a bad Captain America, and we're going to have the Flag Smashers. Oh, wait, we also got Zemo. Oh, we've also got the Power Broker. Oh, we've also got Wakanda. Okay. Cool. Cool.
Who is that lady from Wakanda?
She was another one. Wakanda. She was T'Challa's bodyguard.
Yeah.
Yep. So Sebastian and her go back. No, sorry, Bucky and her go back very, very well.
Yeah.
That's personal. Again, little details.
I remember that particular actress.
I think, because many of us were absolutely enthralled by the captain of his guard. I cannot think of her name right now.
Crap.
But yeah, she is.
I mean, honestly, I was more enthralled with frickin' Shuri.
That too, who was actually able to fix Bucky, thank God. At least sort of, kind of.
Shuri was just her smart mouthing her brother the entire fucking time too.
I mean, just the vibes, the family vibes. Yeah.
It's like, you might be the king of Wakanda, but I'm actually the power behind everything because all of your shit, your Batman level stuff. Yeah, that's me. That's me.
Speaking of Batman, are we just loving the anti-Batman that the Baron has become? It's like, oh, okay. That was cool. That got a lot. I understand that. At the end of last week's episode, understanding that Zemo was going to be brought in as a key player here.
Yeah.
The anticipation of the full comic book character coming to life.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Shuri is cooler than me, Jim. Just saying. Like 1,000 times cooler and better than me. If not more.
I mean, she's goals.
Yeah.
Goals.
Shuri is goals.
Goals. 100%. So let's see. Oh. So Okoye, I never say it. Okoye was the captain. And then you had Lupita Nyong'o as Nakia.
Yeah.
And so the character that we have here is, if I'm remembering right, is an actress from Black Panther. She is, and from Civil War too, as well. Anywhere where Wakanda was, she was another prominent member of the Guard. Yes. Thank you, Amber. Yes. Um, so that makes sense that she would be the one approaching him. And I love it's a testament to I think Amber and I were talking about this earlier as we watched it for the second time. It's a testament to the collaboration that's happening with this show. You have this perfect combination of actors who have played the characters for a decade, more in some cases. You have wonderful attention to detail direction, perfect directors chosen for each episode, and writers who are, I would certainly like to think they're nerds or becoming nerds, because the overall arc, the overall goals are very clear in this. And that this is why I have to watch, you know. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I'm talking to the cat.
Oh, the cat. Yeah, this is why I have to have people help me go, because I'm like, I know I missed a million details. I know there's 500 things in this episode that I didn't 100% see, or some things that I did see. Yeah, it gets insane, but it really is like, at the end of this, going to be like having a 10-hour movie.
Yeah, exactly.
For everything. And that's totally fine. We love that. I think, and even comparing it to the other films that the MCU has put out, this is probably going to be one of the best.
Yeah, definitely. It's especially when you have it in a long form like this. Like a 2-hour-ish movie, just it can't compare, because like the amount of detail you can put into a series versus especially one that's getting the budget of a movie.
Yep.
Like you literally cannot you cannot compare these series, WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier, to anything else really that's come out before.
Yes.
Because you're getting the huge Hollywood star-spangled movie production budget for a series.
Yeah, I mean, way back when, it wasn't unusual for a miniseries, a TV miniseries, to be given that much attention and budget. But you weren't talking about an action. I mean, okay, maybe Lonesome Dove had some stuff in it. You know what I mean? You remember the heyday of miniseries? You know, like Shogun and the Thornbirds and all these. Huh? Yeah, it was huge to do that. That for me, like the idea of the mini series is something I don't think anybody should have ever let go of, and that's what all of these things are being called: WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Presenting it in a series, in a mini series like that, is propelling the entire next phase forward in a way that we weren't getting from the previous movies. That's not what happened with Phase 1. It's not what happened in the beginning. This is completely different.
Phase 1 was kind of cobbled together,
North and South,
like to be fair, because like
kind of like
when they started Phase 1, quote unquote, like with Iron Man, it was just throwing things at a wall and seeing if it sticks.
Yes.
Are people going to be receptive of this? Yeah. And they were.
Oh, dear.
So like they've built up this entire franchise kind of based on the zeitgeist of pop culture that happened to have stuck.
Yeah.
Like any other point in time, had they tried this, probably wouldn't have worked. It probably would not have worked. But because nerd culture was where it was, and things like X-Men had done well before it, that set the stage for the MCU to do well.
Yes, the audience, the point that Marvel has gotten to, where they're running the show.
Yeah.
They're setting the bar. They're setting the precedent for anything like this, and they're certainly setting it for the successes. They may not win the Oscar, but there isn't any other studio that's going to bank what they do. There isn't any other studio that's going to have such a clear path that's going to get the actors, directors, producers, and writers and audiences that any other projects. I mean, it's and this level of success and consistent success is changing the landscape of how we view. There's always been a bit of a bifurcation of the artistic films and the tentpole film that is going to support financially the studio. But you have an entire studio that does nothing but create consistent, bankable films.
Yep.
That set the level for the box office and don't need a powerhouse Oscar nomination for that extra 10 million, 20 million, whatever bump in ticket sales.
Yep.
Nobody would care if a Marvel movie got nominated for an Oscar or not.
Oh yeah. It's like it truly does not need an Oscar. Oscar. I can't do ours today.
and yet it will continue. You will continue to have these more artistic directors who, let's face it, have made some real piles of garbage in their day too. Who were like, well, those aren't real movies. That's not real cinema. That's not real this. So I'm like, at a certain point, you're not watching the same movie that I'm watching.
Well, and
you don't see the good in this.
It would be absolutely wonderful if we could have more original content, stuff that's not based on a comic book or a book or a remake of something that's came out. But things like this are what bank those movies that are original content and allow them to potentially be the mistake.
Yeah, Paramount doesn't get to produce or distribute your films, or Scorsese or whoever you work with, unless they have a couple of these bankable films. Period. Yeah. They can't afford to take the risk on you because you want another statue.
Yeah,
it's not going to work this time. And at the same time, not only are these films very fulfilling for us as fans, they are delivering fantastic moments of like the pinnacle of talent that is out there in Hollywood. Because of the content it's about, it gets dismissed, and that's not fair. I've seen scenes and writing and editing and directing and everything in there that could rival what we would consider the top 100 on the AFI.
Yeah,
that's just as good. Y'all just don't like the content because you're snots.
Basically, it would be great. It would be amazing if we could have things that are original content. I would love to see more original content, but we can't get that original content if they don't have the money to throw at the original content.
It is a consistent, and as much as we fear the House of Mouse, Disney Studios has pretty much one of the best track records of balance in their distribution and production of both original content and not original. Let me keep changing the copyright laws so I can keep making these fairy tale movies content. Yeah. But at the same time fostering. I mean, God, some of it is just rom-com, some of it is just silly, but it is also original and fun and getting together the most practiced people in Hollywood. And again, Disney has a great track record.
Yeah.
There's something about their 90s cheese movies that we love. And it may not be, what was the one that lost to Shakespeare in Love? Jesus. Spielberg. Was that Saving Private Ryan? I think it was Saving Private Ryan. Lost to Shakespeare in Love in the 90s.
I was little one in the 90s, so
you know, it's the movies that tick off the boxes that we know are the Oscar films, and yet a Creature from the Black Lagoon movie will win Best Picture one year. Shape of Water.
Sorry, that was one of the best fucking moments in that movie.
Wow. Yeah, you're like, okay. It's like, did I really want to know that?
Yeah, I kind of did.
Somehow I didn't want to know, but I did kind of need to know. I did kind of need to know that. And it was
like,
Doug
wait a
Jones.
minute.
So
what
cool.
are the logistics of this? Because it does not look like he has any.
And yet, okay. And we're all just
that answers that question.
Right, we're just going, it's okay, bestiality. Got it. We're good.
Is it really bestiality if it's humanoid?
Yes. Short answer. Short answer, yes. A werewolf is also humanoid.
Yeah, but like I would compare the Shape of Water monster more to like an elf or a triton in like D&D, like from a D&D player's perspective.
I'm not saying we don't make
like
excuses.
I'm not
for
quite
it.
Sure this is technically bestiality.
I'm not saying we don't romanticize it. I'm not saying there aren't times where we haven't batted an eyelash. I'm just calling it what it is. And that it won an Oscar. We're just gonna make that clear. That
it did deserve it, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Not disagreeing with the fact, but it was still a creature movie that won the Oscar. Yes, and so it's a step in the right direction. I don't ever expect to hear, and the Oscar goes to Doctor Strange. It's not gonna happen. It would be cool, but it's not gonna happen. No. And Doctor Strange is probably going to be a better movie than half of the ones that do get nominated. Sorry, they all got flaws. It's good, especially in a category where you now have 10 movies that can get nominated. That's exhausting. But yeah, so we had Falcon and the Winter Soldier come out. We had the new Black Widow trailer come out.
I actually have not seen the Black Widow trailer yet.
Okay, so this is the next one. Highly recommend. Of course, we're still super excited for that one. I would like to see that one in theaters. I feel like it was shot for theaters. I would like to experience it.
Yes, that's my understanding. From everything I've heard, Black Widow was definitely shot for the movie theater. That is the experience you should have with it.
Yes. What else did I put? And then around the same time when we'll get a firm answer for Black Widow, I will right after this we have Loki. Yeah. So that's cool. This is interesting. I am enjoying the conversations, not so much where people are pushing because they want the mutants or we want to know the mutants or we need the X-Men. And I'm like, look, the MCU has been doing just fine without the X-Men. However,
it'll be nice to get them, but again, not necessary.
But you are about to come into this next phase that is all about multiverse. It's all about Nexus. It's all about all of these other fractal possibilities of other worlds. And we've discussed the breaking of the timelines that have happened. Like that they've certainly given themselves a lot of ways to get there.
So to bring up Olive's comment, though I suppose if something is big at Cannes, I presume it's worthwhile. Generally speaking, if something does well at one of the more indie film festivals, it's likely it's going to get bought by one of the bigger studios. That's why you go to one of those big film festivals in the hopes that someone like 20th Century Fox, are now owned by Disney, would buy it up.
You want those laurels. Those are bankable laurels. And it's why I kind of always have these arguments like, I just shot it to like 50 film festivals. And I said, then you just gave a bunch of crap film festivals your money.
Yep.
Because 99.999% of all film festivals don't have anybody of relevance going to them. They just trick young filmmakers into paying to have their movies shown. And then you get to put a screensaver on your computer that has a laurel with that film festival's name on it.
Yeah.
If you get some recognition. And but when you're getting up to what is basically an industry film, I don't even know if festival covers it, but the Cannes Film Festival, the Venice, Tribeca, any of these things are, they have everybody there. But that doesn't mean that all movies have to go to those places.
No,
to get noticed or recognition.
Another thing is, with things like Amazon Prime, you can self-publish your short films now. Like, there are means for it, like YouTube, Amazon, places like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Hulu even has a film festival. Like, there are smaller film festivals that you can still throw your hat in the ring, but it'd be worth more because of the fact that they are these bigger names. Like, they're not well known yet, but it is a bigger company that you're likely to have it stick.
Yeah, getting a strong production company even backing you with distribution or funding your short film into turning it into a full-length feature. That's the dream of the short films, that you now get tapped because of your writing, because you have been a consistent producer in quality content. You're directing, obviously doing a good performance that gets the attention. Could get an audience, getting an audience award is a big deal. That translates like pretty, a lot of people consider like, oh, an audience award, and that means money. That means it's somebody the audiences like to watch. So that's a movie people like to watch, and they're going to pay tickets to go see. All of these things do have relevance, but it's about having the precedence behind it. So not all film festivals are created equal.
Exactly.
And your point, absolutely. If something went to the Cannes Film Festival and it ended up with this laurel or that laurel, that absolutely gets everybody's attention.
Oh, yeah.
That is incredibly bankable, even in your reputation. They may not do anything with that particular film, but they now know your name.
Exactly, because the fact of the matter is, it's a proof of concept that you have the ability to make a film of this quality.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, hello.
But distribution is important too, and we are entering a completely different day of distribution. The good news is, when you have a strong fan base and you're around long enough for people to keep talking about it, I mean, people talk about the John Wick movies. People talk about these films that have a good structure to them. It is important that the money guys are always going to want what's bankable.
Oh, yeah.
You're also going to be in pop culture long enough for people to appreciate more and more of you. But I mean, Hollywood is so fickle. Glenn Close still hasn't won an Oscar.
How long did it take Leonardo DiCaprio to get a fucking Oscar?
Well, there's a problem when your movie after Titanic was The Beach.
Yeah, but he probably should have gotten one for Titanic.
There's an argument. Yes, there's absolutely arguments for that. That is a good, and James Cameron's good at doing the movies that bank and get a lot of industry praise. I don't know how the next couple are going to go, but we'll see.
But like there are so many actors that have been around doing great work for so many years, and they still don't have an Oscar. And it's not for lack of talent. It's not for a lack of industry clout. It's that these people that are giving out these awards are fickle as fuck. And if you don't pay into their view about whatever the fuck it happens to be that year, they're not going to give you the
There's a
award.
lot of, the hardest ones, because part of it is dissecting who's voting. And you have to have it's an invitation to a point group and what you are allowed to vote on.
Yeah.
As a little footnote, the year that Barbra Streisand tied with Hepburn, they both won the Oscar for Best Actress. Yeah. It was The Lion and Winter, and it was Funny Girl. Guess how many credits Barbra Streisand had when she was invited to become a voter?
No idea.
None. She had been seeing film, but the movie had not been released yet. Funny Girl had not been released yet. Funny Girl was her debut.
All right.
And she was invited to vote. And that was also one of the first years the Academy decided that it had to be a perfect tie. Couldn't be within 3 or 5 votes, which used to be the thing. There were actually a little bit of leeway to determine the winner. So if Barbra Streisand voted for herself, she won by 1 vote.
That kind of seems like cheating.
So Gregory Peck was the president that year. And he understood that he needed younger blood.
Which is fine. I agree there.
Influencing votes. Not just what was put out there as what was nominated for the vote, but the people who were up and coming, the younger blood, younger generation up and coming, contributing more of their opinion to who won the Oscar. Bear in mind, this is, not that long, if I'm remembering, after Grace Kelly won when it should have been Judy Garland. There are shocks and upsets and times where people think they know what's going to happen. But to your point, if you don't see the movie, if you're not invited by that studio to their villa in Venice before you happen to be voting the next week, it is this exposure. It's in your face. Every once in a while, though, there's a shakeup, and somebody who, the actress who won for The Favorite, it was supposed to be Glenn Close's year for The Wife, and she won for The Favorite. This is the one with Emily Stone and Rachel Weisz.
Okay.
And the amazing actress who was also the queen on The Crown for the last 2 seasons.
Okay.
You know who I mean, Colette, I think her name was, or
I know the face. I don't watch The Crown. I only kind of know by.
Yeah. But she, again, she was not supposed to win that year because she had missed all of the press for her movie because she was filming The Crown. This was a sleeper. This was obviously an Oscar contender movie. It was obviously the movie that the studio had made that had all the substance that the Oscars like. It had a queer, very ill, mentally unstable, period piece ruler, and while her kingdom was at war.
Sorry, cat just decided to shift in my lap.
And but Glenn Close was supposed to win that year. That was like basically in everybody's mind was that this is going to be Glenn Close. It's going to be Glenn. Because this was also the year that Lady Gaga.
Oh yeah.
So I think about this. It's Glenn Close. It's her turn to win. It's Lady Gaga. The young pop culture singer talent who's also proven her acting chops. And okay, cool. And who wins? The British import won. And everybody was like, you could hear it in the crowd. It was like, what?
Yeah.
And everyone's thinking about that was what was in the voters' mind while that's happening. Like, we don't know it's so unpredictable. And I feel like almost this world apart from pop culture in so many ways.
Yeah. Well, there's that. And again, as you mentioned earlier, it is a very skewed age-wise demographic for the voters.
Yes.
They do need some younger blood for sure. But if I also feel like if that younger blood happens to have been nominated for one of their movies, they should probably not be allowed to vote in that
the year
category.
their first nomination, because you're supposed to have I think it's 3 years or 3 credits. And to your point, Donnie, Claire Foy only played the Queen in the first 2 seasons of The Crown. The last 2 seasons of The Crown has been an elder actress, and then they're going to have even another actress for this next age up. So there's that. So here's my question to you. If there was ever a character movie or event comic book movie like Endgame or Iron Man, Batman, we're going to set aside Heath Ledger for a minute. If there was ever a character or a specific plot from a comic book that could theoretically win Best Picture, what universe would it be from? What character would it be? What would have the potential to do that? We know that the Joker can win Best Actor. We know that.
Yeah.
Gosh. So now is there another either character or plot-driven comic book movie that could take Best Picture? And is there a comic book character who could take Best Actress? Olivia Colman. Thank you. Olivia Colman. Mwah. That's it.
I think just because of the hype around it, something X-Men related, if they did it right.
Mm-hmm.
If they did it right. Because fucking Logan was goddamn perfect.
That was close. That was really close. I mean, Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman, everyone across it, like, oh, God, yes.
And the young actress who played Laura.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh. Like, one of my pops is X-23 for a reason.
Yes. Although I don't understand why nobody else spoke Spanish or had a Spanish accent.
I don't fucking know. Hollywood.
Like, wait. Continuity? What?
That's one of those things that, like you said, damn near perfect. This particular thing didn't exactly make sense because the other kids should be speaking Spanish too.
Because if they had done it better, if they had done the final season that we deserved, Game of Thrones would have done Emmys and Golden Globes for their final season. If they had been at their peak, if they had given us the final season, completely immersive, dragons, witches, magic, crazy. Lord of the Rings won basically for all 3 movies, but they gave it to the last movie. Okay, cool. So it sci-fi, fantasy, Shape of Water, all these things happen. The question is there a comic book movie coming out on the horizon that could do it? I mean, one of the things I would have said probably a few years ago was that there was potential in a character like Black Widow to allow the actress to become nominated.
I think she has the potential for this next, her solo movie, because of the fact that spy movies do well. Spy movies, just look at James Bond and everything. Like, they tend to do well with the box office, and they do well with nominations and winning. So I think depending on how they do Black Widow, while it is set in a comic book universe, while this character is a comic book character, it's fundamentally a spy movie.
Right. Yes.
So depending on how they do this, they could get an Oscar for it.
Right. Because it's kind of that question of what's really the difference between this and, say, Red Sparrow.
Yeah.
To a point. Obviously.
Yeah.
But to a point. So I think it is entirely possible. I don't think that we've quite latched on to the perfect storyline yet for the comic book movie that could take it. But when you look at something like WandaVision, you're like, God, that's got to be at the Emmys. That's got to be at the Golden Globes. That's got to be there.
Yeah.
These shows deserve this for sure.
They definitely deserve it.
Yeah.
They have such good quality. They have such good acting. Like, the entire production team is on point. And if they don't at least nominate them, they are doing a disservice to the fan base for any television. It doesn't matter if someone's a comic book fan or not.
No, it's just a good, like what we are seeing with television, how good it can be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's the potential for something this epic.
Oh yeah.
Like, are you getting off my lap? Or are you just shuffling? Hi.
So we know the Joker could take over we know the Joker can sweep the awards. Could Batman ever be portrayed in such a manner?
I hope so. I really hope so.
I think
but the way Warner Brothers has been going with everything, I'm not quite sure that's going to happen anytime soon.
Yes. Yeah. No, and I'm not, again, there's nothing on the horizon that I'm seeing that's making me do this knee-jerk reaction. I've always tried to kind of bend my mind in a way to see Kingdom Come done as a miniseries that could get that caliber of attention. It gets really tricky, and again, I'm trying to bend. We all love Harley Quinn. Could there be a serious Harley Quinn movie done? Yeah,
I don't have an accidental Harley Quinn shrine on my desk right now.
It's like, I don't know. It's because the rogues gallery gets a little tricky when it comes to Batman. It's even a little bit tricky when it comes to Superman. But when you think about the Richard Donner movie, I mean, that got pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of historically, Batman's been mishandled.
Yes, in some way, kind of missed the mark.
Yeah, most of the live-action Batman adaptations have not done well. However, the animated things, they've been top tier.
Yes.
And I think some of that is because Warner Brothers, for the most part, just kind of lets the animation department do what they want.
For the most part, there are times where they've been held back, and probably rightfully so.
But when they step in, it's again one of those moments. Hey, you're maybe going a little too far. Like, they don't, with the animation department, they don't step in unless something's really going fucking wrong.
Very different relationship. At the very least, it's a very different relationship. Yes. And clearly, I hired these people to do this, and I'm going to let them do their job. Yes. God forbid you do that. God forbid you actually let that happen.
You mean we hired these people as experts and we don't let them do what we hired them to fucking do?
Giant spiders. Yeah. I mean, I do look at one thing. I like, you have your Harley Quinn. Like, you have your Harley Quinn. That is possibly the best opportunity to have somebody step out at a level that you had Heath Ledger step out, that you have Joaquin Phoenix stepping out for a very similar character as far as her ability, her talent, and her pop culture backing as a character that people are,
and I think,
going to be fickle about.
One, because people like the anti-hero so much. I mean, look at fucking Deadpool. Look at how people are responding to Loki. a Harley Quinn miniseries or a full-on series as live action would do Warner Brothers wonders. And it could be set like kind of like a time back and forth where they do her as Dr. Quinzel and then her time as Harley Quinn, and going back and forth between make it more fluid of a timeline.
Yes.
It's here's what happened in the past. Here's her now. Here's what happened in the past. Like, it doesn't have to be a distinct, everything happened in a linear fashion.
Yeah.
Hi. Yes.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were willing to do the Peacemaker TV show. I would be surprised if this is something that they've talked about, and honestly, she's just too busy right now. That would shock me in the least, because of how in demand she is.
She is.
But I don't know. It's not just pop culture. It's not just a geek show. It is a show showing us the potential of what is out there, not only for pop culture and for comic book influence, but for television in general.
Yes, exactly. And these comic book characters are kind of a reflection. Yes, Floopy Kitty. Who cannot decide whether she wants to lay down or not. Are you comfy now? Are you comfortable now? Is that a good spot? Okay. But they're a reflection on how we feel society is going. The reason why we're attaching to these characters like Deadpool, like Harley Quinn, like Loki, is because we feel like there is something kind of fundamentally flawed in our society right now.
Right. Well, yeah, we keep relating it even to movies like Gone Girl and Promising Young Woman, and you wonder why Harley Quinn's our favorite comic book character. But this is something comic books have always been. It's kind of like, if somebody basically poo-poos the legacy of comic books, like, well, then you're just not paying attention to what people were trying to say in that particular decade, or the one before it, or the one before that. Like, you're just not paying attention to the significance of this.
Exactly. Like, comic books have and always will be a reflection of what's happening in society at the time. X-Men is a prime example of that for the civil rights movement. And to these people trying to be like, but Marvel's being social justice warrior. It's like, have you not paid any attention to the history of comic books?
You do get it to comic. You do get, okay. No, they don't. They don't at all.
Like,
Yep.
The entire message behind decades upon decades upon decades of comic books is a reflection of, hey, there are these injustices in the world. Maybe we should fucking do something about it. Hi, Kara.
Oh, the animals are taking over the asylum.
Hello. Yes, your sister jumped down from the stool, and so now you and you alone have reign of my lap.
Well, unfortunately, I do have to take care of the pooches before I go.
Alrighty. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Oh no, Matthew, you joined just in time for us to end. I'm sorry.
No. But I'm sure Lyssa has more stuff lined up for tonight. I'm sure she's going to go play something.
I do. Let me pull up my freaking link tree real quick.
While she's doing that, yes, don't forget, go follow Geek Girl Lyssa. She's Geek Girl Lyssa everywhere. Y'all, I'm the only Crysstal out there with 2 S's. You can find me. That's not a problem. Like,
Boom.
subscribe, notification bell, Share it. We love that you guys join us. For everyone who came in here early, everyone who came in when they could, everyone who stuck around, everyone who just gave us a shout out, all of you. We don't care. We love it all. Thank you, everybody. We hope you had a really good week. I want to thank Lyssa one more time. She's awesome. And until our next Two Geek Girls next week, I hope you guys live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper, everyone. If you want to watch me play Tomb Raider, I start at 10 p.m. on my Twitch channel. All right, guys. Bye.